With his stunning looks and on-screen magnetism, Robert Redford was one of the last links to the golden age of Hollywood. News of his death today bringing back memories of the way we were. In his final days, the 89-year-old shunned the spotlight, instead choosing to stay on his ranch. Robert Redford was one of the last true bridges to Hollywood's golden age. With his sun-kissed looks, his quiet charisma, and an on-screen magnetism that never dimmed, he became a symbol of enduring stardom. News of his death at age 89 on September 16, 2025, has left the world reflecting not only on his legacy, but also on the mysteries he carried with him. In his final years, Redford stepped away from the spotlight, retreating to the peace of his Utah ranch. For over 60 years, in an industry that thrives on confession and exposure, he remained a master of privacy. Unlike many of his contemporaries, who shared every detail in interviews, tell-all books, or late-night talk show appearances, Redford stayed guarded. No headline-making meltdowns, no embarrassing overshares, and certainly no rash social media outbursts. A longtime colleague once put it this way: "Everything you saw from Robert was exactly what he wanted you to see. Nothing more, nothing less." His carefully maintained image wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate rejection of what he called Hollywood's confession culture. In his own words, during a rare candid interview in 2018, he explained, "I've never understood why actors feel compelled to tell the world their deepest secrets. Some things should remain private. Not everything is for sale." Yet with his passing, a more layered portrait of Robert Redford has begun to surface. Through late-life interviews, private letters now being shared, and reflections from those who knew him best, we are finally glimpsing the man behind the myth. And what we see is someone shaped not just by talent and beauty, but by profound loss, private pain, and unspoken regret. Here are 7 revelations, threads that together create the fuller story of Robert Redford. 1. His twin died at birth. Few people knew that Robert Redford entered the world as a twin. His brother died during delivery. Redford carried this silent fact for most of his life, finally revealing it in a 2013 New Yorker profile when he was already in his late 70s. He admitted simply, "I was originally one of 2 Frescas." Then almost as quickly he changed the subject. But friends say this loss haunted him. Director Sidney Pollack, one of his closest collaborators, once shared, "Robert sometimes felt like half of something, that he was always searching for completeness." This invisible absence seems to echo through his roles, characters grappling with hidden identities, fractured pasts, or lives lived under masks. Whether in The Way We Were, The Natural, or his Oscar-winning Ordinary People, psychologists often note that surviving twins struggle with identity and survivor's guilt. For Redford, the search for self was not just art, it was life, to the death of his infant son, Scott. On October 17, 1959, Redford and his first wife, Lola Van Wagen, endured the unthinkable. Their firstborn son, Scott, died of sudden infant death syndrome at just 2 and 1/2 months old. Though this tragedy was mentioned in biographies, Redford rarely spoke of it. In 2011, he briefly shared, "You never recover from the death of a child. You learn to live with it, but it changes everything." Those close to him say this loss shaped his approach to family and to fame. After Scott's death, Redford became fiercely protective of his private life, determined to shield his children from the public eye. A friend explained he couldn't control what happened to his son, but he could control how much of himself he gave away to the world. That boundary became sacred. And perhaps it explains his lifelong disdain for Hollywood self-importance. As that same friend put it, "When you've held your dead child, you don't mistake gossip or publicity for real problems." Eyes 3, A Hidden Health Battle. Despite being known for his vitality, Redford battled peripheral neuropathy, a painful nerve condition starting in the early 1990s. It caused numbness and weakness in his hands and feet, but he refused to let the public see it. During the filming of The Horse Whisperer in 1998, crew members noticed him wincing between takes, sometimes needing to sit to ease the discomfort. But when cameras rolled, he became the energetic figure audiences adored. He admitted only once in 2013, "I've been dealing with a nerve issue for years." It affects everything. How you move, how long you can stand, even how you sleep. Still, he never wanted health to define him. His doctor once said, Robert didn't want people watching a film thinking about his pain. He wanted them thinking about the story. 4 frustrations as a director. Redford's directorial debut, Ordinary People, stunned Hollywood in 1980 and won him the Academy Award. Yet, he often felt his later films were overlooked. Quiz Show in 1994 tackled corruption in television and is now hailed as a classic, but at the time it disappointed at the box office. Films like The Conspirator, 2010, and The Company You Keep, 2012, earned modest attention, but not the cultural impact he hoped for. He once confided, "Everyone wants me to be the charming con man or the guy on the horse. Nobody wants me to be the man asking hard questions about American culture. That hurts." This quiet frustration drove him further from acting and deeper into Sundance and environmental work, spaces where he felt impact was measured by meaning, not ticket sales. 5. The Love He Lost and Found Again. Redford's 27-year marriage to Lola Van Wagenen ended in 1985. He spoke little of it, but friends say he carried guilt, believing career ambition and long absences played a role in the breakdown. In the 1990s, he found love with German painter Sabo Zagars. They lived together nearly 20 years before marrying in 2009. Friends say his hesitation came from wanting to avoid past mistakes. He told me once he was determined not to repeat the errors of his first marriage. A family friend shared with Sybil Redford kept his private life shielded from Hollywood's glare. No red carpet showpieces, no joint interviews, just quiet companionship in Utah. In 2021, he explained, "When you lose something valuable, you learn to treasure what comes after more carefully." 6. Quiet rage at Hollywood. Though outwardly diplomatic, Redford grew increasingly angry at Hollywood's commercialization. In letters and private conversations, he criticized the industry's obsession with branding actors like products. He refused talk show circuits, Oscar-hosting gigs, and blockbuster franchises. In 1998, he wrote to a friend, "It's not about storytelling anymore. It's about marketing. I can't pretend to be excited about that." In 2017, he admitted, "I think I paid a price for not playing the game, but I couldn't have done it differently and still respected myself." His creation of Sundance was his answer, a platform for films the system ignored. 7. His final regret, time lost. Perhaps Redford's most poignant admission came late in life. In 2023, he reflected, "I thought I had more time, but time doesn't care what you thought." Despite owning his Utah retreat since 1969, he often felt he had missed too many days there, pulled away by film sets and obligations. His daughter Shauna said he was always building something, a film, an institution, a cause that gave the world gifts, but it cost him time with us. In private, he told Sibila, "I wish I had spent more days just watching the light change on the mountains. All those perfect days I missed because I was somewhere else." It is a regret as human as it gets. The man behind the myth. These 7 truths don't reveal scandal or disgrace. They reveal humanity. Robert Redford wasn't hiding out of shame, but out of humility. In a culture of oversharing, his silence was its own kind of authenticity. A colleague said it best. The more famous he got, the less he said. The more power he held, the more carefully he used it. The more people wanted from him, the more selective he became. Through his films, his activism, and his legacy at Sundance, Redford left us hints of his true self. A man who valued dignity, who wrestled with grief, who tried to balance ambition with love, and who never stopped searching for meaning. He once remarked, "I never wanted to be famous. I just wanted to be good at something that mattered." That, in the end, may be the clearest window into Robert Redford, the star, the storyteller, the man.